Give you another example. Qatl. Qatl is a unilateral action. Somebody was going and somebody shot him. He was killed. This is unilateral action. But if there are two groups pitched against each other, they want to kill them and they want to kill them. Now it is muqatala or qital. So the difference between qatl being a unilateral phenomenon and qital or muqatala being a bilateral phenomenon. The same is the relationship between jihad and mujahada. And there are so many words, because most of us here, they know Urdu, and these words are used in Urdu. Bahs, to argue. Mubahsa, there are two groups, two individuals. They are arguing against each other. He wants to prove his point and prove that the other point is false. And the other person is trying to prove his point. And he is trying to prove that this man, whatever he is saying, is false. This is mubahasa. So bahs is unilateral, mubahasa, it is bilateral. In the same way, shair, a poet is saying, poetry. Mushara. What is mushara? Poets gather together and they are competing. They want to show off, their expertise, and they have to see who has won that mushara. So these, these are few examples which make it amply clear that the basic three-letter root is juhud, and from juhud to jihad or mujahada, from qatl to qital or muqatala, from nafaq to nifaq and munafaqa. Actually, this is the subject of tomorrow's discussion. So I'll discuss it, inshallah, tomorrow. What is munafaqa and nifaq? Derived from nafaq. From shair, mushara. From bahs, mubasa. So I think this should be sufficient for the literal meaning of the word jihad. Now I'm coming to the fourth point. Levels of jihad. Number one, and these levels we are going to discuss in general terms, just as I described the process and methodology of the revolution of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, first in general terms, not using the Quranic terminology or the Islamic terminology, in the same way, so that you have a deep understanding, a deep insight. And it will be better that we understand these things in generalized terms. First of all, every living being, every living creature, every living organism is making jihad all the time. This is called struggle for existence. There is competition. You have to support yourself. And there is going competition, struggle for existence, survival of the fittest. Every living organism is in jihad all the time. We call it jihad lil haya, for life. Jihad lil baqa, struggle for existence. Only the dead things are not doing any jihad. Every living organism, it is all time, it is making jihad because there is competition. You have to compete to live. So it is juhud lil baqa or jihad lil baqa, jihad lil hayat, struggle for existence, struggle for life. Now, number two, every self-respecting human being, every self-respecting human being has to make jihad, irrespective of whether he is a Muslim or a non-Muslim. Every self-respecting human being makes jihad, number one, for his rights. Jihad lil huquq, to get the rights from the usurpers, those who have usurped their rights, those who have made them slave, those who are exploiting them, those who are suppressing them, those who are depriving them of their rights. So you have to make jihad. This is jihad lil huquq. And the most important in this is jihad lil hurriya. Struggle for freedom. Struggle for self-rule. Struggle for self-determination. Struggle to get freedom. And this goes to, as jihad goes to qital, this also goes to qital, war of independence. Now these two levels of jihad are common to all human beings, whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims, whether they are believers or non-believers, whether they are religious or secular. But please note here, if a Muslim is making these two jihads, he is making jihad at the first or the second level, and he observes the rules of the Sharia in this jihad also. He resorts to only the halal means which are permissible according to the law of the Sharia, to the divine rule, and he refrains from the haram means, things which are not permitted. Now he will be rewarded for these two jihads also. The Prophet said, Al-Qasibu Habibullah. Whosoever is working hard, he is, working hard to earn his livelihood, to support himself and his family. Inna li nafsika alayka haqqan wa inna li zawjika alayka haqqan. Your body has rights over you, your nafs has rights over you, your wife has rights over you, your children have rights over you. If you are striving for existence, for maintaining yourself and your family, but for that you are not resorting to anything haram, you are observing the laws of Sharia, it is actually ibadah. This is a worship, and a mu'min is rewarded for this also. In the same way, if a Muslim or a mu'min is striving to get self-rule, independence, he wants, or they want, the Muslim nation wants their rights, they want to snatch their rights from the usurpers. They are struggling to have independence, to have self-rule, to have self-determination. This is also a jaiz jihad. This is also a part of ibadah. He will be rewarded. But mind you, these two jihads are not jihad fi sabilillah. Differentiate between these things. A jaiz jihad, jihad for supporting your own self. But if you are doing it within the limits of the Sharia, it's part of ibadah, you will be rewarded. If you are making jihad to get your rights and to snatch freedom, your rights from the usurpers, this is also jihad, permissible jihad, jaiz jihad, and you get reward. This is also part of ibadah, but not jihad fi sabilillah. Jihad fi sabilillah is something else that we shall discuss inshallah shortly. But here again, please let me mention, a Muslim, if he dies while he is only protecting his property, he lays down his life, there are robbers who attack him. They want his wealth. Now there are two ways open for him. Either to give them what they demand and save himself. Or if he resists, suppose he is shot at, he is killed. The Prophet said, Man qutila duna malihi fahuwa shahidun. He was not making any jihad fi sabilillah here. He was only defending his belongings. And here he has been killed. He is again shaheed. But there are levels of shahada. A shaheed who lays down his life while fighting for the cause of Allah, that is something different. That is at a very high level. Gar hifz maratib na kuni zindigi. You have to keep in view levels. You know, there are